Hello, and welcome to part one of this series that I decided to do of just going over some of the basic stitches that you'll find in most crochet projects. And yeah, so you won't really need much. I'm just using your standard regular metal hook as well as just some random yarn that I have lying around. I don't recommend using too small or too large of a hook when you're first starting out. Something kind of in that mid-range. And also, if you have one that's got one of these, I don't know what you'd call it, like the plastic rubber covers on them, makes it a little easier to hold on to. But yeah, I'm going to be going over just how to do your slip knot and just your foundation chain and just the single crochet. And that's what we're going to be doing. So yeah, to start out, you're going to want to make a slip knot, which there are many ways you can do this. I have heard from some people say that I do it in a weird way, but this is just how I learned, and I also learned from YouTube, so that's a fun fact. Anyways, so you're going to want to start out by taking your yarn and kind of wrapping it slightly around your index finger and folding it on top of itself so you make an X like this, and then just hold that in place. And then take your yarn and kind of fold the loop that you've made over top of it and pull it through like this. And I'll do that again, just like so. So take it around your index finger, wrap it onto itself, and then kind of put it over top of the tail that's connected to your yarn, if that makes sense. And then just pull it through like so. I would recommend maybe looking back at that if you're so confused, because it's quite hard to explain, but there are many ways you can do it. I just have always done it this way, so yeah. So you're going to want to make your slip knot like so, and then take your hook and insert it into your loop like this, and then pull down on actually I'm going to redo that because my tail is very long. Okay. Like so. There we go. And by tail, I'm referring to the yarn that's not attached to your ball or skein or skein. I don't even know how you say it anyways. Yeah, you're going to insert your hook like this and then pull on the tail that's connected to your ball of yarn, and you'll see that this slides up. And now for holding your hook, this really depends on what feels comfortable. I do I think it's called like a knife hold or something like that, or you can do it like this, or I don't even know what other ways, but there's whatever feels right to you. So, and also for your yarn, I hold it like this, where I wrap it around my pinky like so, and then wrap it up like this, and then take my pointer finger and go under like that, and then that's how I do it. I'll do that again. So taking your yarn, kind of wrapping it around your pinky finger, going up, and then putting it like so around your index or pointer finger. And then to make your first chain, you're going to want to grab your yarn like this. So wrap it around like so, and then just pull through that first chain. And I'll do that again. So wrap it around or grab it with your hook and pull it through like that. And then that is how you make your chain stitch or foundation chain, whatever you like to call it. And then just keep doing that until, I won't do too many, just to show how you do that. And this ball is kind of awkward. It is a bit tight when I rolled it, so it doesn't come off very nicely. And yeah, so once you have this I'm just going to do this many chains, and then to start your first row, this part gets a little confusing, but you can see on the front there is like they're V-shaped, kind of like a braid. And if you flip it like this, you'll see that there's bumps on this side, and you're going to want to work into those bumps. So you're going to go into the back and insert your hook in like that. I accidentally picked up some extra yarn. Let me just fix that. This part gets quite tricky when you're new. And then you're going to do the same thing like you were doing with your foundation chain and just pulling that yarn through, except this time you'll see you have 2 loops on your hook, and you're just going to grab yarn like so and pull through both of those loops. And then you have your first single crochet. And then I'll try and go over that again with those to going into these back loops or bumps or whatever you like to call them. But you just go in like this and then do that again where you wrap your yarn around your hook, pull it through, and then again pull it through both loops. Hopefully I explained that okay, because I remember when I was first starting out, I found it so confusing figuring out what side was the bumps, but it's kind of, again, if you hold your yarn like this where you see these V's and then twist it to the side, you'll see that these little bumps are what you're working into. You can work into the V like this if it's easier, and if you're just starting out, it might be better where you just go through like this, which gives a similar result, but I just like having that cleaner edge when I'm working, so I'll be teaching you how to do that. I actually didn't know about that until quite far into my journey with crocheting, so I just find that it makes your work look really nice and clean on the end. But yeah, you're just going to work into these back loops. Sorry for the lighting, it might be hard to see. There we go. And just continuing on like so. Let's go grab some more yarn. And yeah, just keep working into those back loops. And then once you get to this end part where your tail is connected, you aren't going to work into, okay, I don't know how to explain this too well, but you're going to work into this kind of loop here, so I'll try and make that easier to see if it'll focus. 1 second. Okay. So you're going to work into this as you were doing with these stitches that you've already done. So just work into this end area here, pull through. And I have a bad habit of holding the yarn really weirdly. I only recently learned to stop doing that because it's hurting my hands, but yeah. So once you get to your end and you're ready to start your next row, you are just going to do a turning chain, which is simply just wrapping your yarn around and pulling it through like so. And then you can turn your work and continue onto the side. And this is a little, I don't want to say easier, but you can see where you're going a bit. I don't know, I guess it is easier to see where you're kind of putting your hook into when you've got that foundation chain done. So now you're just going to want to insert your hook into, oh yeah, so this is the top of your work. You are inserting your hook in here into your first chain, or not your first chain, but yeah. And then just doing the same thing, wrapping that yarn around and pulling it through those 2 loops. And again, in here, like so. And then just continuing on until you get to your end. And then once you get to your last stitch that you can work into, you're just going to go in as usual. And then you've done your, I guess, yeah, your second row. And then, again, same thing, you're going to want to do that one chain stitch. Turn your work, and then just repeat. And that's all you got to do to do single crochet. I don't think this hook works very well with this yarn, I'm going to be honest, but I just thought I wanted to use a bit of a darker yarn. So, yeah, and apologies, I don't know, I have a cat, so there might be hair on things, so I do apologize. And yeah, you should be looking a little something like this. And then to end, you are simply going to take your, oh yeah, so to end off, you are going to do a chain stitch like this, and then take some scissors and cut your piece off like this, and then just pull it all the way through. And then, so you're left with these ends here, and all you gotta do is just kind of, I'm doing it again with my fingers, I do apologize. As I said, I only recently tried to stop breaking that habit of holding my fingers weird while crocheting, but anyways, you are just going to weave those ends into your project. There isn't really a right or wrong way to do this, as long as they're kind of tucked in there and not going to unravel, you should be fine. So just like so. And then when they're kind of pretty well in there, you can just trim the excess like that. That was a horrible cut, but it's fine. It's a demo. I'll move that out of the way. And then just do the same thing for your other tails, or whatever you call them. I don't even know. That's good enough. And then just trim it like that. And you have your single crochet. This is a extremely tiny sample, but yeah. This is what it should be looking like. The tension's a bit off because I don't think this hook is meant for this type of yarn, but I will be going over that in another video if any of you are interested on going into more detail about yarn types and what kind of hook you should be using for, well, depending on what project you're wanting to do. But yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.